Welcome to OFFS, the show where we have a girlfriend chat about culture, fashion, food, health, relationships, and so much more. We've been friends for 25 years and it shows. Together we love to laugh, share stories, and talk all things popular culture. We are healthcare practitioners and we understand that community is what heals us, and we welcome you to ours. I'm Fiona.
And I'm Vanda.
And this is the OFFS podcast. Welcome to the Oh, for fuck's sakes podcast, episode 5. Yay! I'm Fiona.
And I'm Vanda.
Welcome to our listeners.
Hi.
Hi, darling. How you doing?
I am amazing. How are you?
Good. I just said to Vanna just before we pressed record, I said, you and I are freaking Muppets today. Like, what is happening?
We're the ones in the gallery. Yeah.
The old
I don't
guys
know.
that sit in the box. For the
That was outstanding.
version.
That was amazing. Well, it was okay. Yeah, it was pretty good. Actually, not very good at all. Yeah, that's us today.
That's nuts. All right, can you believe it? We're at episode 5.
Episode 5. 5 alive.
I know.
Look at us go.
I like it. So you are back in your home studio.
I'm home.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah,
and I hear
back.
a rumor that Waleed is tired and on the couch and could be snoring before we know it.
It's possible because the cat is cuddled and he's on his phone. He does have his AirPods in, so it's possible at any moment we can hear some snoring.
Okay, well, please keep us updated.
I will. Yeah, I'll take these off.
I love it. So how were your travels? Tell us about your travels.
It was amazing. We had such a good time. 18 days. We did Kuala Lumpur, Vietnam, Thailand. We finished the last 4 days since the last time we talked. I guess we had 4 days in Bangkok and stayed at my brother's apartment, which is right off Sukhumvit, and we did the Grand Palace. But it was so freaking hot that day. It was unbearable, actually. And my brother's like, it's not that hot. And I'm like, I don't know what was happening. I live in Dubai. I can take heat. It's not like, I'm just coming over from the winter of Canada. But both Waleed and I were both like just miserable, just like sweating.
Yeah.
And like kids were like standing in the fans. People were pouring bottles of water over their head. It was crazy. So, and I don't know if it was just that afternoon or what, but then we took like a little cruise down the river and then hit a mall, which had great air conditioning. And and then we just did some shopping and did lots of dinners. And Bangkok has the most amazing food. Like for Valentine's Day, we went out and went to a Greek restaurant with my brother and his wife. And yeah, it was just like,
lovely. Aaron and I went for steak. Of course, we went for steak dinner, of course, because this is Alberta and that's what you do.
Gotta have beef.
And it did not just, I want you to know we diversified a little bit. We had the scallop appetizer. So I know it wasn't just red meat, it was, seafood too. So it was delicious.
I love scallops. There's a lady over here that has like a Japanese restaurant, and she does these like brown butter scallops. They are delicious.
Okay.
But they're also this big. And I'm like, where's my 300-gram ribeye? Like, like if I order scallops, you get like 4 bites and it's over. It's delicious, but I also like quantity. Over quantity over quality. I like both. I like quality and quantity. So
can you get like scallops? Is there an option to add on scallops or like, where you can get
you can, but then it just gets crazy expensive. It's like $14 for 2 scallops.
Yeah, I know. I think our 3 scallops, we had 3 scallops and 3 mussels and a bunch of like accoutrement on the plate to make it look arty, and I think it was $23. Yeah.
They got the swirl and you got some dollops of stuff, but there was
pepperonata, just so you know.
Ooh,
I know, and lobster cream. It was delicious. So good. Okay.
What restaurant did you go to?
Chairman's.
Oh, that's a new one, right? The
Hmm.
mahogany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been around a few years now, but yes, one of the newer ones. I think our local magazine here, Avenue Magazine, voted it best steakhouse last year. So it was good. It's
Oh,
great. And it's
nice.
close to home, which is always nice. And probably my favorite part is underground parking.
Heated.
Just saying. Just saying. If I had snow on my car, it would melt off while I was in having dinner.
Amazing. The
Hmm.
magical, magical wonderland of underground parking.
So good. It's so good. So you have just this morning, I see, this morning, my time, posted some clips on Instagram.
I have.
Tell me
Yes.
more.
So we have our Instagram, which is OFFS.podcast, I believe is what it is. I should probably check that out. It might just be OFFS.
I think
Hold
that's
on,
right.
let me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
OFFS.podcast. Yes, that's
Okay.
right. This is what we look like.
Yeah, we do. We're
and
in
and we
person
have
for that photograph.
and we have 15 followers already. It's awesome. So
Nice.
I just posted a whole bunch of little like clips and stuff. And of course, the favorite clip from last week where you told your joke about your dad and what he calls tight pants. Just priceless. You'll have to go over there and watch the clip and find out what Fiona's dad calls tight pants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bless him. And yeah, and then also we're also obviously on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have our Spotify and our Apple podcast going. So yeah, we're everywhere, Fiona. We're everywhere.
That's awesome. So, like on
Yeah.
Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we're OFFS Podcast.
Yeah.
And then how do people find us on YouTube? Same?
We are also OFFS podcast. I try to keep it easy.
Yeah. You know what? I appreciate that. Like
Yeah.
100% appreciate that. So, this weekend's Valentine's Day activities, Aaron and I went to see a movie, and it was
Ooh,
not a superhero movie. I
that's
know,
good.
but I'll talk about the movie here in a second. But what I found really interesting was all of the movie previews were all like
Mm.
this post-apocalyptic Mad Max Dune stuff. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, Dune 2 or something's coming out.
yeah, like I'm like, really?
Wow.
Like, and
Yeah.
then I realized that of course there's been this strike with the writers and the actors for quite a long period of time last year. It's done now, but it's just going to take some time to catch up. And I think really the only movies we had were the ones that were already well into production.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
then
looking.
also the COVID like break
Mm,
as well, right? It gets
mhm.
kind of took over everything from that. So we
Yeah,
haven't
it's
had a good movie in 2019.
crazy, right? Like I feel like the last good movie I saw, feel like I'm gonna forget something really good was I did enjoy Bad Boys 2, or was it Bad Boys 3? I can't even remember. Bad Boys for Life. 4. Jesus, Midnight Cocoa Bean.
No, I'm wrong. No, Bad Boys. It would have been Bad Boys 3.
Yeah, okay.
Bad Boys for Life. Yeah, yeah,
I wonder if
3.
that'll be the last one.
Yeah. But they're coming out with another one.
Are they really?
Yeah, yeah, they've announced it. I'm
Will
super
Smith
excited.
probably had to
Midnight Cocoa Butter.
Cocoa Bean.
Cocoa Bean.
So totally
Ah.
rando, but here we go. My brother and I were having a meeting last week, kind of like a serious sort of legal style meeting, nothing bad, just estate stuff. And while the people that were as part of the meeting were sort of writing up notes and stuff, I turned to him and I was like, "So, how do you do Just for Men in your beard and not look like Eminem?" Anyways, he's like, "Dude, really?" Well, wouldn't you know, one of the ladies that was in the room with us was like, "Oh, well, you've got to use a special brush." She said, "That's how I do my eyebrows." And I was like, respect. And then my brother was like, "Well, yeah, I've used it in my beard, like when I'm doing the Movember thing, and you gotta go a couple of shades lighter than you think it should be." I was like, "See, this is a real thing."
Yeah. Or you
I
look like
brought it
Eugene
up.
Levy. With the eyebrows.
Exactly. Well, apparently
Uh,
there's like an applicator with like a blade situation, and apparently you can do
oh.
because you're like this too. You've got super pale eyebrows, right?
Yeah, and these are even tinted.
Yeah. So he's the
Yeah.
same way. He apparently uses it for his I hope I'm not telling tales on his behalf, but he tints them. And so he was telling, but the ladies were like, "Oh yeah, I use it for this and this and this." And we were all I was surprised. I was surprised at how robust my conversation became when I was looking for a moment of levity during a serious enough moment,
Yeah,
right?
serious
Like
conversation. Yeah.
just kind of my style. Anyways, I learned a lot. I learned a ton. So, anyways, apparently, Mark's piece of advice was to go a few shades lighter. Otherwise, you wake up one day and you'll have like white roots in your beard. The rest is dark. Midnight
Uh,
cocoa bean strikes again. Okay, so the movie we went to see was One Love, which is the biopic of Bob Marley.
oh, of course. Yeah. How
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah, it was quite good, quite
Yeah.
good. Enjoyable. We both enjoyed it, and his story has a serious is a bit serious when he's talking about the political situation in Jamaica, and then of course spoiler alert, Bob Marley dies at a fairly young age. I think anybody
What?
listening to this would actually know that, so I don't think I'm actually spoiling anything. If I did, I'm so sorry.
But wasn't it like
But
toe cancer?
yeah, it was actually melanoma on his toe.
A toe, right?
Yeah,
Toe
yeah.
cancer.
Token. Well,
Sorry.
I mean, you were right. It was just a weird, rare cancer, but they do cover it in the movie.
Yeah.
And but they cover sort of that, period of time where he was recording Exodus and he was doing the concerts, the peace concerts in Jamaica, and he was living out of the country. And it was really well acted. I enjoyed it very much. Of course, the music's amazing, as you would expect it to be. And actually we really enjoyed it. So, and I have to say, I wasn't a fan of Bob Marley. I just didn't really know much about him until I was an adult, and now I would say that his music is some of my favorites. So, um, nod to him for creating music that lasted. I mean, he died in 1981 or
Yeah.
1983 at the age of 36. So that music's old.
40 decades. Yeah.
Hmm.
40 decades. 40 years.
40 years, 4 decades, yeah, and still very relevant and timeless, really timeless.
I used to listen to No Woman, No Cry
Mm.
every every Monday morning for sure, if not every morning of the week, when I was driving to Palmer to go to school.
Mm.
And especially the part where it was like, everything's gonna be all right. I would literally repeat that to myself as driving down
Brady
Brady to
Street.
go to school. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
everything's gonna be all right. Yeah.
Oh man, like the things we
Yeah.
had to do. Okay, so here was the joke I was going to make, Van. Before I knew the context of what you were going to say, I was like, was that the joke or was that the song you listened to make it through Palmer? Yeah, actually it was.
Yeah,
Just
it
to give you an
was. It
idea of
was
how
100%.
traumatic this is. So shit.
Everything's gonna be all right.
You're like,
Uh,
don't cry, don't cry,
no
just
woman, no cry.
keep your
Woman is
stick on the
crying.
ice.
Woman is crying.
Woman is crying every day is crying. Brutal. Brutal.
Uh, yeah.
I know.
Get like
So that's what we got up to
flashbacks.
this weekend. It was quite something. Okay. So after we wrapped the last episode, I told you a story
And I
that
was like, you gotta say it's
two,
the cat husband story.
two of us were cracking up. And he said, you got to tell that story. Okay. So I'm going to tell the story. So this is about Friday mornings in my house, in my podcast studio. I record either a solo episode or I'm recording with a guest, so doing an interview. And on the wall behind me is a floating shelf, and on that floating shelf is a number of like statues and art pieces and some plants. And so I have a cat that likes to jump up there and eat the plants. Now, he usually is super well behaved. We feed him before I go in to do the recording.
Bribery.
Otherwise, it's a shit show, right? Like then he goes and has a nap. It's just like having a toddler, I'm sure. I don't know that for sure, but I've heard. So, but I leave the door open just a little bit because if I close the door, it's like, oh my God, mom doesn't love us anymore. And we're tearing up the carpet in the house and the whole night. So I leave the door open just a little bit. So I get on the podcast. I'm recording with a beautiful author and journalist by the name of Jennifer Chesick. She wrote a book called The Psilocybin Handbook for Women, which is an episode that just dropped yesterday on my podcast. And thankfully, she's a cat lady. And I can see that Hamish has jumped up onto the shelf and he's now going about the business of knocking stuff off the shelf like cats do. Like this is all in my background, okay? While I'm trying to be serious. Have you seen that BBC video where the kids come the
And
nanny comes
grabs it and grabs it. Yeah.
It's crazy. It was just like that.
Yeah.
So I'm already into the interview. I don't want to stop the interview. So I literally bring up my text message function on my computer, and in capital letters, I text my husband, I'm like, "Get cat now." Come get the little fucker. Anyways, so I can hear running up the stairs shortly after. And then I can see the shadow, like I can see him passing between me and the window that's on the other side of the door. So I can see he's upstairs, and now he's trying to figure out, this is my husband now. I'm trying to figure out how to get the cat off the shelf without opening the door and like his face and this whole shit show being on the camera. So he figures out where the treats are. And so Hamish leaves the shelf and Aaron gives him treats.
Is he in the other room like
He totally was. He totally was. And I was like, okay, well, I wonder how this is going to go. I'm waiting for that shadow to pass by again so that I know he's gone downstairs with the cat. But it doesn't happen. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's just listening to the magic mushroom talk conversation, right? So
sitting
later
outside
on
the door.
Exactly, with the cat and the treats and the mushrooms. I don't know, maybe. And
stroking the cat.
Like Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil.
Anyways, so later on he tells me, I said, well, thanks for coming to get the cat. I appreciate that. I didn't have to have proper words or grammar. It was just a bunch of grunts on text message and he knew what to come do. And he goes, did you see me crawl by? I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, I didn't want to be out. I thought I would be on camera. So I got on the floor and did the army crawl across the hallway. Across the hallway and down the stairs.
I just see Aaron.
The things our husbands will do for us, I'm telling you, it's just awesome. So thanks, honey, for always having my back with the cats. But that was the story I told. Anyways, had Van in tears. So I understand you have a story.
I have a cat story, and he's circling.
Please.
And actually, wait for it. He's coming. Wait for it.
Amazing.
There he is. Oh no! Oh, don't jump. Okay. Yeah, that's Steele.
Steele.
It was like he knew it was his moment. So as you know, of course, we were on vacation. So we went and picked him up from his kitty condo, which he was having an amazing time at with his girlfriend Goldie. And we brought him home, and the cat he's turned into a shadow. Like, I mean, of course, when you leave him for that long, they just love you. So like everywhere we go, like the cat is right behind us. And so yesterday we're sitting on the couch and Steele is right between us. Now I have a pretty good sense of smell, but it's not great. But the thing was that the cat was actually sleeping more on Waleed. And then what happened was he got so comfortable that like the cat was like laying on the couch, and then Waleed moved really quickly and he fell off the couch. Now, Steele has this thing that if he gets a little bit excited or gets a little bit scared, he poops himself a little. Like, just he literally shits himself. So I think he got scared when he fell off, right? But then what happened was all of a sudden, Waleed was like, so we brought him back on the couch. We didn't realize this at the time. And then we're sitting there, and about 10 minutes later, Waleed calls it his police nose. And all of a sudden he's like, off his arm, and then he's trying to he's picking up the blanket, sniffing the blanket, and then he picks up the cat and he's like, oh. So anyways, now Steele has long hair, so sometimes poop gets a little bit matted in the
Oh no.
Sure, right? So anyways, so I don't know what I was doing. I think I was on the phone with my mom, and I have never laughed so hard. And she's like, "What's happening?" I could barely control myself like from laughing so hard. Um, but I have to show you these two pictures because this so what Wally did, of course, was then pick up the cat and then just take him over to the sink and put his like ass in the water and just like
Oh, I'm sure he
wash
loved
his
that.
butt. There's nothing else he could
Yeah.
do. This was Walid's face. Oh wait, hold on, sorry. And then why are people messaging me now? And
Well, like
then
in this very moment, it has to happen, doesn't it?
yeah, and then this is the other one.
Who had a better face, Steele or Waleed?
I think I definitely Walid had the better face because he was like, as he's washing the cat's butt in the sink, he's like literally like trying not to like
Oh
breathe.
dear.
Oh my god, I laughed so hard. Like,
I bet you did.
oh, poor Steele. So that's
Oh,
our
man.
cat husband story for today.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so good. There are children, aren't they?
100, yeah. And yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, after you've had them 5 years, like kids are pretty self-sufficient. By 5, they can go to the bathroom maybe by themselves and they can get a snack. But these guys, you got to take care of them until
You
know,
do.
cradle to grave. So yeah, they're like little babies the whole time.
Oh, is he okay? Has he survived?
He's fine.
I'm talking about Steele, by
Wally.
the way.
Oh, Wally. Walid is fine. He's gonna make it. Steele is also 100% fine, and he's
I'm
just
so
staring at me with his grumpy look from behind the screen. He'll probably come here and say hi. Oh, here he comes. See, he's just like, come here.
He knows.
Oh wait,
he knows the sounds, right?
now he's playing hard to get. Come on, say hi to everybody.
Oh,
hi,
Steele. Right now he's like, you're gonna take me to the sink, aren't you? Okay, let me tell you, everybody, that is the best brushed cat on this planet because Waleed has a special skill.
Yeah, and that's
tell me I'm wrong, Banda.
No, you're 100%. And we got him a new brush in Thailand, and Steele was very, very happy about it. So, yeah, now I got cat hair all over me.
No, it does happen. It doesn't. We have a selection of lint rollers and like cat hair brushes and things like that at the back door where we get into the car to leave.
100%.
And variety.
I have one in my drawer right in the office. First thing I do when I get in the office is lint roll myself. Even if I put my scrubs on right before I walk out the door, somehow still random cat
every
hairs.
time.
Yeah,
it's like glitter in our house, right? It just
like
shows up everywhere. It is.
glitter.
I had something to eat over the weekend and there was like a cat hair like baked into it. And I was like, oh, how did that happen? You know, we're pretty particular about that, but you know, it just has a way. Just has a way.
Yeah. It's just
at least I know it was my cat.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody ever is coming to my house again to eat, apparently.
I am.
Okay, right, good.
I am. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. You'd be very sad without Erin's cooking, I think, maybe.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah. So here we are without any football or Taylor Swift stories to tell.
Well, yeah, true. I was
going to say that's okay.
It was like her biggest concerts in Australia for 3 of them.
I heard that. And there was something about her dad.
88,000 people.
Not in one concert.
No, 3 concerts. It was like 92,000 or something a night. Yeah, crazy.
And her dad did handwritten letters or gave out handwritten letters from her to people in the crowd. I don't know who it was. I know, which is such a lovely touch, isn't it?
I love how you're Swiftie now.
Despite my better judgment, I am. I still can't say that her music is really my vibe, but I really like her as a human being.
That's fair enough. You need to listen to more to the Lover album and then you'll get on board. It's cool.
Okay.
Midnights.
Okay. Yeah. All I know for sure is that whatever music I have to listen to, I have to make sure I'm listening to Taylor's version.
Yes. That's the law.
so that she gets the
So
commish
she gets it, nobody else. Yeah,
and nobody
exactly.
else. Okay, I had an interesting cultural thing happen this weekend. I want to get your take on, seeing as how we're talking about, oh, all things cultural and social. We were out with friends, and um, the friends I was with had somebody they knew come up to them at the bar. And as we were being introduced, I put my hand out to shake this person's hand, and my hand was ignored. I mean,
Just like
they were making
totally
eye
ignored,
contact at
or
me. Yeah, they were making eye contact me. We were having a
so you're
conversation.
like this and they're like
Uh-huh.
this?
Just
Really?
standing there with hands at the side, at the side. And I'm like, is this a thing now? Like I remember the whole COVID thing, and we weren't shaking hands
Yeah.
for a while. And then sometimes people just don't want to do it. So if you put your hand out, they'll give you the fist bump and say,
Yeah, a
that's
little fist bump.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. But to be honest with you, I'm a bit old school on this one. And I'm like, I think there's nothing quite like a handshake. And so I don't know, is there something happening? Am I now the old fart talking about these things the way our parents did? Like I
I
kind of
don't
feel
trust
like
that
that's
guy.
the
Didn't have a
truth.
good handshake. Yeah, no, I
Didn't
maybe
look me in the eye.
look me in the eye. Um maybe. It's interesting because when I moved here, so I obviously being chiropractor, I have very strong hands and I'm very aware of that. So I usually match people's pressure, right? So I mean, if you're a dude and you want to crush my hand, I match you.
Watch out.
Watch out, I can probably level like most guys I can take to the floor. But then also like, but some people here, like, they just shake their hand and then it's like a wet fish or something. They just
But
kind of like lay your hand, and I'm just like,
mhm.
I flop it around and I don't know what to do with it. The one thing I do like here, like culturally, especially between like a man and a woman, if they don't want to touch people of other genders, or just out of respect, they instead of shaking hands, you put your hand over your heart and just kind of like bow a little bit. That's very popular here in the Middle East.
Mm,
Um,
I
but
like
with
that.
COVID and stuff, yeah, it's actually really nice. And it's just like, if somebody puts out their hand and you don't want to shake it, you're just like, oh, hello, nice to meet you. You just put your hand over your heart. But especially with COVID, I think a lot of people here have kind of stopped shaking hands. But at the same time, if somebody sticks their hand out, I know how to shake a hand. Did
Yeah,
they were
interesting.
they super young? I just wonder if
Mm,
maybe they came of age during like COVID or something, and maybe they've never shook a
yeah, it could
hand.
be. It could be. I don't know their age for sure, but I'm gonna guess it's half of mine, so 25 at
So like,
most.
I was gonna be like, so they're 8. Um,
Thank you. I was like, where are you going with this?
maybe 16. Okay, whatever.
I love it. Thank you. And that's why we're friends. I mean, there's so many reasons, but that's why. I just found it an interesting thing. I mean, I almost feel like I want to ask my nieces what they have to say about it, because I don't know, is this the new thing, and I need to get hip to it. It just felt, I don't know. To me, it came off as rude. And that's
Mm.
the thing that, and I don't like, my mind reads into it and goes, what happened there? Did I say something? Or maybe this person didn't see my hand. Maybe they were drunk because we were at a bar. Like, there's a
Yeah,
lot of things that it could be,
yeah,
right? maybe
yeah.
maybe they were on mushrooms and thought my hand was, like, I don't know, not there, invisible and stuff.
Or there's 3 of them, and she didn't know which one to grab. It is an interesting question though. Like, did we miss the boat on like, is Gen Z or even now Gen Alpha? Like, are they? I don't know. If anybody's Gen Z out there,
Let us
let us
know.
know. Do you shake
Is it
hands
a
anymore?
thing?
Like, or is it
Are
a
we not doing it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did I send you the meme that said, is anybody else watching Gen Z dating and feeling like they got the last chopper out of Nam? Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but that's funny.
Like, and of course, I wanted to be like, hey, listen, I remember online dating. I did plenty of it. So I got stories too. So, like, what's so different that's happening now? I don't know. Maybe they're
I
just
don't
not
know.
shaking hands. This is the problem.
Maybe they're probably
Yeah.
shaking other things, and that's probably also the problem.
But this handshake thing is so serious. Like you
so
and I were
serious.
both raised by, first of all, strong, kind men, but also fierce females. And
100%.
so that was never, like, having a weak handshake was never an option. Like I remember when I was newly hiring staff years and years ago now, and I had a youngster that joined my staff, and she gave me the limp fish, and I was like, okay, somebody hasn't taught her, so now I get to pass the message on. And as kindly as I could, I said, listen, I'm going to teach you something that will serve you so well in life as a woman.
100%.
Look somebody in the eye and give them a shake, and like literally make contact and give it a shake. And like, yes, you can match grip if you want to, but you're right, some people like to squeeze. It's like a how big is your dick maneuver, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
Again, you make an excellent point. Exactly. We're both chiropractors, we both have strong hands. Like,
yeah, like, you want to
Don't
go
go there.
okay. Like, it's fine.
let's take the bets. Taking the bets.
But the thing is, this is the other thing though. If you are shaking somebody's hand this strongly, I have a very strong hand and I can match it and I can take it. Why are you crushing females' hands? This is the question. Like, you don't have to shake anybody's hand this hard. Like, it's unnecessary. Just saying. That's my little soapbox for the day.
Oh, I love it though. It's good.
Like, why? But one of my earliest, honestly, I don't even know how old I was, probably 6, 7, maybe even younger. I remember standing in the kitchen with both my mom and my dad and them teaching me how to properly shake somebody's hand. Like, and they're like, no, do it again. Look me in the eyes. Give it, like, you know, they're just like, and I remember this. Like, I remember being trained. Like, you know, how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You learn how to shake somebody's hand. So I don't know if anybody's doing this anymore, but let's bring back the nice to meet you handshake, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. Life lessons from our parents, right? Like this is one of those that was really, really important. I love it. I love it. All right. So we are complete for today, my dear. You got anything else you want to talk about? I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Time flies. When you're making me laugh, time flies.
I was gonna say, I did see a study today that says if you fart during your relationship, you're happier, laugh more, and your relationship lasts longer.
I don't know about you, but perfect. Who needs therapy? You just need to.
Farts are funny.
This is our rule in our house, according to my husband. All farts are funny all the time. And if you're with people who don't think they're funny, then you should change the room you're in. Not just because you farted. But because those are not your people, boo.
Not your people. Farts are funny. In all shapes, sizes, and lengths. No, that's about all. Oh, I do have one thing to share, which I didn't do last time because I didn't have my tea. But here, hold on. Look, my little tea thing. Yeah?
Yeah, what's it say?
I thought this was so appropriate. Your strength is shared when you are present for others.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that nice? I got it out and I was like, oh. Yeah. So thank you.
That's amazing.
Being here, and thank you for sharing your strength with me today. And thank you for being present,
sister.
And that's how it happens when you're in the flow. Like
it goes right by.
Goes.
Yes. Yeah. I know. We've been talking for 40-ish minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I guess we
Yeah. Yes. I know. Crazy. We've been talking with the recording for 40-ish minutes. You and I were talking long before that. So.
I think we missed some good stuff before we turned on the
we probably did, which means the minute we'll turn off the recording. There'll be other things that'll pop up and then we'll have stuff to talk about next time. I love you.
I love you too. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too. Bye for now.
Bye.
We hope you have enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube. Our handle is @ohffs.podcast. Follow us for more updates and behind-the-scene content.
The information and other content provided in this show, or in any linked materials, is not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. nor is the information a substitute for professional medical expertise or treatment. We are doctors, but we aren't your doctor. Seek your doctor's opinion. If you or any other person has a medical concern, you should consult with your healthcare provider or seek other professional medical treatment. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you have heard in this podcast or in any linked materials. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or emergency services immediately. The opinions and views expressed on this page and in this show have no relation to those of any academic, hospital, health practice, or other institution. Thank you.